Hey guys, I wanted to talk about, well, this is that lathe. I did a video on it a couple weeks ago, and but we talked about these flange bearings when I did that video, and I said I would show you how to make some. Now I hadn't gotten to it. Danielle was due to have our baby yesterday, and she hasn't yet. But we went to the doctors today, and they said a day or two, so it's going to happen real soon. But I figured I'd take advantage of our time to talk about these little flange bearings. These flange bearings came out of an angle sander, you know, a 6-inch pistol style disc sander from Harbor Freight. I think the whole thing brand new from Harbor Freight was 15 bucks, and I just robbed the flange bearings out of there. So, but if you don't have access to flange bearings, you can make your own. I use a lot of my jigs have bearings in them, and they're these are typical bearings you get out of a skateboard or inline skates or a scooter. They all have these, and this is a 5/16 or a 10 millimeter, not 10, yeah, 10 millimeter bolt fits in there real nice. So you can get a nice tight fit in there. And the reason I use flange bearings, especially on jigs like this, is because a lot of time there's a lot of slop here in the chuck on drills. So I want to have two bearings, 2 or 3 inches apart, and a shaft going through, and that really creates a lot of stability in that shaft, so I don't get a lot of vibration over here. But in order to create a flange bearing, if I didn't have access to these, I just take a piece of plywood and I take a 7/8 bit and sand the sides down a little bit because a 7/8 is just a little bit too large for that. But if I sand the sides down, I modified it, and now it's a nice tight fit. And I just drill down into the plywood about a 1/4 inch, just over a 1/4 inch in depth. And then I take a 5/8 bit after that and finish that hole, cleaning it all the way out. The reason I do that is I don't want there to be any wood in there that messes up the inner workings of this bearing. So it basically just rides along this outer rim, and then it's tight fit. But when you get it in there, you just want to make sure that you have a little bit left of the bearing and it's sitting nice and tight on the bottom, and a little bit of that head sticking out. Because when you put the bolt through, you want a washer that's smaller than the outside of that, and then a washer, then a nut. That way, nothing's rubbing against that, and it'll just have lots of free play. So that's how you make a flange bearing. Real simple. This goes on the jig in lieu of these metal ones, and then you can move it back and forth and in and out, and whichever to help line up that shaft nice and perfect. So I wanted to show you guys that real quick. I'll put a link down to the plans below if you guys are interested in checking that out.